And our movement goes back 60 years. Phyllis Schlafly, in 1952, she ran for Congress. And she didn't win, but she did not stop running. Her ideas began to win. In 1964, Mary Goldwater ran for president. And from her kitchen table, right here in Alton, Illinois, Phyllis Schlafly wrote a book, An Echo. It's a choice, not an echo. And from Alton, Illinois, she sold 3 million copies. She's the founder of the Eagle Forum. Phyllis Schlafly, she brought the heat. In our national party, they saw the light. She's a principal reason why our national party believes in our state party in the sanctity of life. Ronald Reagan called her brilliant. She's an icon of the conservative movement. Phyllis Schlafly is living proof that you can change the world from your kitchen table. With our welcome speech, let's welcome Phyllis Schlafly.
Success in your transparency movement, and thank you, friends, for coming here today. I am so impressed that there's such a big crowd that is interested in the good of Illinois. I spent 44 happy years in Alton, and I'm very much interested for the good of Illinois. So I thought I'd give you just a few minutes of history to inspire you to do something that is might look impossible, because Adam has now set as his goal to reform the Illinois state legislature to elect the kind of people who will give us a great state and restore leadership and good values to Illinois. I fought this 10-year battle against the constitutional amendment called the Equal Rights Amendment, known as ERA. And when it came out of Congress with a vote of about 20-1, everybody said it's going right through. Of course it's going to win. Everybody was for it. Every governor was for it. All the senators were for it. All the women's magazines and the women's organizations. The media were 99% in favor of it. Even Hollywood was in favor of it. Alan Alda came to Springfield, Illinois to tell us why we ought to pass and ratify the Equal Rights Amendment. Everybody who was anybody in politics, from left to right, from Ted Kennedy on the left to George Wallace on the right, and 3 presidents in between, were all for it. Richard Nixon was for it. Gerald Ford was for it. Jimmy Carter was for it. And everybody said it couldn't be beaten. But the grassroots rose up, and people said I sent out my rotunda letters. Meet me in the rotunda of the Illinois State Capitol. And I can't count how many dozens or maybe hundreds of times I drove over Route 16, then called the most dangerous highway in Illinois, to go to Springfield and lead the troops to tell our state legislators we wanted them to vote no. And the years went on. ERA had a life of 7 years when it came out of Congress. And when the feminists ran out of time, they went to Jimmy Carter and he got them to give them a crooked extension. And Henry Hyde said it was the most unusual time period ever written into any law. An extension of 3 years, 3 months, 8 days, and 12 hours, designed to catch the Illinois legislature at its mandatory adjournment on June 30th, 1982. But anyway, we kept telling our story, telling the truth about why it would draft 18-year-old girls, hurt the housewife, put abortion funding in the Constitution, and approve same-sex marriages. And we convinced a lot of people. But the feminists were very angry. Some of you will remember Sam Fidalby, how ugly the feminists were to him. They went and picketed his home on Mother's Day. So they had a lot of ugly tactics. They staged a hunger strike in the rotunda of the state capitol, and the excommunicated Mormon lay on her couch and pretended to be dying of hunger. They imported some anti-Vietnam hunger strikers who were well experienced in hunger strikes. And then they had the lesbian chain gang who chained themselves to the doors of the Senate chamber on the second floor of the Capitol. And the senators had to step over them in order to get in to their chapter to vote. And then one day they were really ugly. They went to the slaughterhouse and they got plastic vials of pig's blood. And they came back and wrote the names on our marble floors of the legislators they hated the most. Well, somehow those tactics didn't get them any votes. That's a good testimony to the people in the legislature. And then the crucial day came when the final vote was to come, and they announced this was the big day they were going to win. And all the networks were there, CBS and NBC and ABC. And that's the day Jimmy Carter was calling the Democrats, offering them public housing projects in their district if they would vote yes on ERA. And Big Jim Governor Thompson was calling the Republicans and offering them roads and bridges in their district if they would vote for ERA. And Mayor Jane Byrne was calling the guys from the Chicago area, telling them all their relatives would be fired from their jobs if they didn't vote for ERA. We won anyway. And it's a wonderful testimony. It is possible to win when everything's against you. So, Adam, you've got a big job. You've got to change the state legislature. And I know you can do it, because if people like you come and give generously and give of your time, I hope you will work within the Republican Party. When you go out, you'll get one of my flyers about how the most important, powerful office in the world is not the president, it's precinct committeeman. We need you to be active in the Republican Party so you can make sure we're not nominating rhinos. And when you go to vote in November, you got a really good guy or woman to vote for. So we need your help, your active work in the Republican Party and in politics. I believe in that. I was a precinct committeeman for 16 years, despite all the other things that I do. It's vital that you do that. And of course, if you want to know how bad the feminists are, you can get my new book called The Flip Side of Feminism. I have a few copies available here today. So I encourage you. Coming here today is your down payment on changing Illinois and for the good of our state. We all want to work together for the good of Illinois so we can reform what's going on, win the election next year, and make our state a great state again.